Alright guys, welcome to the YieldNest educational series. In this video, we're going to talk about YieldNest Origins. This is a YieldNest Origin video. We're going to speak about the mission and vision of YieldNest, why we're here, what is restaking, how are we going to generate real yield, how we got started, and a little bit about the team and about ourselves. So yeah, let's get started, let's dive into it. And we're going to start with introductions. So Dan, who are you and what are you doing at YieldNest?
My name is Dan. I'm the CTO of YieldNest and co-founder. My background is as a DeFi builder. For the last 4 years, I've been building DeFi protocols. It's been a really exciting journey. So it's extremely interesting for me right now to dive into the world of Ethereum restaking yield and just really build on top of this new wave of innovation that's unlocking so much potential within crypto as a whole. And that is, of course, restaking. And currently, we're really pushing the edges of technology at YieldNest. And it's a really interesting and exciting new space to be working in.
Nice. Thank you, Dan. And I'm very happy to have Dan as a CTO of YieldNest. He did amazing work in the past, and we're continuing with that into the restaking domain. And yeah, so I am Amadeo Brands. I'm co-founder and CEO of YieldNest. I founded YieldNest, kind of got started in April of 2023. And yeah, my background is in computer science and economics. I first worked more in the corporate IT side and then got into crypto actually very early on, around 2012. Didn't fully understand it at the time. I was just doing my, my job and stuff. And then I joined crypto full time around 2016. Where I worked for hedge funds and eventually for protocols like, MakerDAO, Curve. I mostly was really an active DAO participant and a consultant for a range of different protocols that I worked for, mostly on the technical and economical side of things. And then around, April 2023, I was kind of done with my last engagement in Miami, and I was searching for what is the next thing that I want to focus on. I knew it was something in DeFi. I knew it was something in Ethereum. Those things are very close to my heart and I'm very passionate about that. And then along the journey, I was firstly actually looking into different structured products to build, like different DeFi products or different vaults or, I was talking to different family offices or different individuals that all wanted to get in DeFi and that all really liked this like self-sovereign money layer that we can build on top of and build products on top of. So that was kind of like my focus, and I was really exploring what I could do there. Then around April, actually in the ETH Global Hackathon in Tokyo, me, myself, and Sean, which you can see here in this photo somewhere, that we can show, like we did a hackathon in Tokyo and we won the first prize there from Aave, and we built DeFi structured products and with liquid staking derivatives, because liquid staking derivatives had this base yield, and we built structured products to kind of like enhance those products with time durations and like fixed income products and things like that. Like this was a hackathon, so it was more like a try product. And around that time, I kind of discovered restaking. And then went heads on and, found Dan as CTO and still working with Sean that you see in that photo that we just shared. And from there, the whole YieldNest journey got started. And yeah, what is YieldNest and what does it do, right? So YieldNest is a liquid restaking protocol, and we want to make the best and simplest risk-adjusted returns for our users. So we want to wrap around restaking products, but maybe in the future even other DeFi products. We want to keep that design very open-ended. But we're focused right now on restaking, kind of tackling that problem, and later also putting in different DeFi components or other components that might come in the future. So as two DeFi builders like Dan and myself, we know how dynamic decentralized finance ecosystem is and how fast the innovation space moves. So what we're doing now at YieldNest is kind of like we built these kind of two different restaking products as an entrance into this YieldNest like ecosystem. And then we're going to build different restaking products. We're going to structure and categorize different products. We have a whole risk team that's analyzing all the different categories and things that we can do in a safe and secure manner. And yeah, that's YieldNest. It's a very kind of open-ended liquid restaking platform that is here to wrap around EigenLayer, but it's also here to wrap around other restaking protocol or other DeFi protocols. So it's quite an open-ended architecture with a very strong core. And right then, like, DeFi is moving so fast. So I think the best thing you can do as a DeFi project, as a DeFi protocol, is to build a very strong and fundamentally strong, like, foundational core that we can build other components on top of and expand, right? So yeah, that's what we did. Maybe you have some opinions on that as well, or?
Yeah, for sure. It's indeed, we're building a lot of times systems that are meant to last. And one of the idealistic goals of DeFi and crypto as a whole is to build immutable systems. What you realize once you get into the market is that it still follows the path of a normal product, which is all about finding product market fit and solving a certain problem in the market and solving a certain problem for users. So we still have to be very dynamic, of course, but we are building, as Amadeo says, in a modular way, but keeping everything on our feet. So we're ready to adapt to whether it's new technologies, of course, new narratives, since we know crypto's a lot of things are driven around narratives. But of course, we're looking at basically building this technology that lasts and makes sense. And it's something that we can rely on long term.
Yeah, agreed, and I think me and Dan are fully aligned on that. And the reason why we picked restaking and this kind of modular security direction at first is because we see the current DeFi ecosystem of being scattered a lot today, unfortunately, because we have all these L1s, all these L2s, and I do feel that restaking can lighten up the dark forest. So I do feel that restaking is a key component to kind of meshing together all these different yield opportunities, all these different chains and all these different components more before we get full data availability shrined into the layer one, right? Like if that happens, then maybe we don't need restaking for the modular security stack, but I think restaking will always be there, even at this very mature stage. I do think that restaking will actually form the glue or the security backing a lot of the DeFi protocols that are, that have a decentralized infrastructure, like, Uniswap V2 or Curve pools. They're immutable, decentralized financial infrastructures, right? But around all these DeFi infrastructures, there's a lot of different components that are distributed, right? And restaking helps to harden the distributed architecture around this whole decentralized architecture. And I feel it's a really smart direction that YieldNest staking by building a liquid restaking protocol and then building the glue that kind of glues all these different projects together. And then together with our partners, so we partner with Curve, we partner with FX Protocol, partner with Frax, Curve, Convex. We have many different partners, and we kind of all want to work together with those to build this liquid restaking master powerhouse that is not only doing liquid restaking but does this whole stack. And we're still figuring out how that will exactly look. We keep that open-ended, but the base core that it's a liquid restaking protocol token, that's its core, and around that there will be different components, different sub-DAOs, and yeah, that's how I envision it, and that's how I see this modular security stack in DeFi. How do you see that?
Yeah, for sure. I think in DeFi, it's, as people used to say, it's all about Lego pieces and things plugging in and working together. So a lot of it is all these collaborations with existing protocols and making sure that everything fits together and makes sense. On the side of restaking itself and the innovation that it brings, it does change the game. As Amadeo already mentioned, a lot of the existing infrastructure is having these decentralization properties on the smart contract on-chain level, but it's still often supported by a lot of other services and infrastructure that has centralization points and is not a fully decentralized system. With AVSs, you're able to take a lot of those pieces, whether it's a computational method or some sort of service that is supposed to compute something off-chain, or whether it's a keeper bot or whether it's an oracle, and really push that so it goes into the decentralized direction, since we have these, let's say, single point of failure points or centralization points right now in DeFi that are often criticized. But I think this is the missing piece that's going to get all these problems solved in the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that as well. And that not only from an infrastructure level, restaking is interesting, but of course also from a yield level. I believe, and also YieldNest got started a little bit later, and we did that on purpose because we wanted to see what kind of token eigenlayer is going to bring out. We were not that full set on the points, the eigen points. I think they got a bit overhyped, and then we also see that in the market, unfortunately. I very much respect how some other, protocols capitalize very much on that, but I do think we want to stay very close to the core, and we want to stay very close to the real yields instead of just point farming, right? So I do think that vision that Dan just outlined and that I also outlined is just like when that happens, when those DeFi protocols, I feel that these DeFi protocols will become bigger and bigger and bigger. I think DeFi is going to be trillions of dollars TVL in the longer, short to medium to longer term future. And then I think the restaking will become very important to not only validate all this on-chain data or build watchtowers or keeper bots or bridges or oracle systems, but also to build off-chain components for maybe like financial instruments that are maybe connected more to the real world, like insurance policies or fixed income products or things like that, where you will need restaking in order to communicate off-chain data with on-chain data. How did it exactly look? We don't know, right? Because it's a very fast-moving space and very fast-moving industry. So we want to be ready for that. And we also feel that there is a real yield potential for restaking, but the honest real answer is that might take a while for it to fully play out. But the infrastructure will be built, and there will be a lot of airdrops from different infrastructure partners. For example, we built these categories like AI Eve, or focus on shared sequencing, or focus on AI components or DA components. And we kind of isolate these different products from a risk perspective, but also from a reward perspective, so that when real rewards come in, these kind of products might be capped or not. And then when real rewards start to flow from eigenlayer or other restaking platforms, we will be able to capture those yields in a focused manner. And that in the beginning might be airdrop from infrastructure, other infrastructure protocols. We have seen this in DeFi all along. If you think about like how Bitcoin got started with Ethereum now is deflationary, right? But Bitcoin is still very much inflationary because there's a lot of like pushing of kind of tokens to uphold this decentralized infrastructure. And over time, that kind of gets alive on its own because it delivers value to its users. It's the same thing with the restaking infrastructure right now. It's there, it's forming, but it will be incentivized by different components and different parties for a while, until it gets kind of like its own like life and its own like revenue streams. This can take some time, but I'm very positive and bullish on the future of that. And this might be in 6 months, might be in 3 months, might be in a year or longer, but it will come, and it will give you an extra base yield on your staking yield. So then we create structured products with a base Ethereum yield that also secures other safe components, or maybe safer like components like a DA layer. A DA layer, it doesn't generate that much revenue, but it will not slash you that much, right? But if you go, for example, in underwriting trading strategies, there's much more risk there and probably higher rewards, right? So these things will need to be figured out, and we're all here for it, and we're all building this foundational layer that all these new components can kind of hook into, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what is your view on the real yields? What do you think about it?
Right. I think you mentioned a lot of great points. I think it's also the aspect that there's all these other industries that are benefiting from this innovation. So it's not just crypto. This is not just a game inside the crypto world.
Yeah.
It's really bridging in all these other industries. And probably one of the biggest narratives right now that's going on is, of course, AI. And there's, of course, a bull market right now in AI technology. Yeah. And I think we just saw the beginning of it. And a lot of that compute is happening on, let's say, servers that are private, usually living with big corporations. And there's probably going to be both a narrative and a real application there in terms of training all those AI models on systems that are transparent and operate on services that are AVS-like. And I think Eigenlayer and platforms like these are going to play a key role in running these services, since while it's not completely obvious to people, a lot of the issues with these AI models is that they are trained in a, let's say, black box style environment. So this innovation really opens up the gate for really running these AI training models in a decentralized fashion. And this wasn't really easily doable in crypto up until this point, because achieving all of these things at the same time, getting the crypto economic security in place, was a difficult game, since you had to bootstrap this whole network. And now we have this technology that really brings in existing assets, and particularly ETH, which is arguably going to be, you know, the token of the global settlement layer. So it's going to be extremely powerful, and its economic security transferred into all these other industries, it's going to be a game changer. And I'm sure there's other of these old Web 2 technologies or just new technologies that would benefit from running in this format as an AVS that we haven't even thought about yet. As people will demand transparency, they will demand for computation to be run in such a way, and it will just make up for more resilient systems. Because when we're talking in crypto about things that resist nation states or have that high level degree of resilience, it's something where you actually have to make sure that any centralized component is, well, no longer there to a large degree, because that's obviously a single point of failure or something that can be captured or attacked. So this is a game changer, not just within crypto. It's going to be a game changer for a lot of industries in Web 2 and all these new emerging technologies, for sure. And that is going to open up the real yield in that sense, because it's going to provide real utility, and it's not just a circular game that we play within crypto.
Yeah, I fully agree with that as well. And I think it's basically restaking is exporting economic security from this base Ethereum layer, this like empirical data, right? Like it's like proof that something really happened. Proof that something really happened in a general ledger is very powerful. I mean, look around you where you are. Like the biggest buildings in any city is banks most of the time. And what they do is just they maintain a ledger of empirical data. They maintain a ledger of proofs, and a lot of people pay them money to get proofs or to give the ability to submit your proofs and validate proofs. So it's a proof system. It's in a general ledger proof system, and that is just a very powerful technological innovation that blockchain brought. And it's now the question: how do we distribute that to other layers in the stack? How do we make that modular security stack not only applicable for just blockchain applications, but also for real-life applications? And we can see BlackRock, the Ethereum ETF just got approved this week. Congratulations, everyone. And it's going to be a massive industry, not only for blockchain, but also off-chain side of things as well. And then I would say that, YieldNest is the best place if you want to have a long-term liquid restaking token play, or if you want to have exposure to that market. We are here for the long term. We're not just here for a short-term kind of burst of whatever, like what most projects do. We're here for the long term. Dan is a long-term builder. I'm a long-term builder, and we're here to stay and make the restaking ecosystem mature and bring in real yields over time. And I do see that coming in multiple ways. We also put our money where our mouth is, because we're also building our own AVS that's going to be released later. It has to do something also with proofs of points, because we want to put our money where our mouth is. So we feel that we're not only just innovating on the liquid restaking layer, we're also looking into how to build our own AVSs and how to use these proofs in our own system, right? Because YieldNest at the moment has also some components that we want to further decentralize. We have proofs that we want to distribute in easy ways. So I do think, yeah, there's a bright future, and yeah, I want to invite everybody to come and restake with YieldNest. And yeah, I'm very excited for the future of YieldNest and the restaking and DeFi ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, let's go, everybody. Go to yieldnest.finance, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, and read our docs. There you can see all the amazing the stack that we already built. And we want to build an open protocol, and we invite everybody to contribute, help, join our community, give feedback. It's an open space. We're here to listen and build together. The future of restaking is bright, and you're invited to join. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.